Alright, hello and welcome back to the Spirals Experience, and today, as a little bit of a break from our normally scheduled Phantom Forces content, I decided it would be a good time to take a look at a different Roblox game. Now that we're in a little bit of downtime right now waiting for the next PF update, sometimes it's a little beneficial to put things in perspective and remember just how good we have it compared to some of the other games on the platform. So some of you who follow me on Twitch or are in the Discord already know that I've been talking about this game over the past few days, but for those of you uninformed, this is Rolling Thunder PvP, not to be confused with the PvE version of the game, and as you can tell by the title, I am in almost full certainty, after my near 6 or 7 years now playing Roblox and 99% of those Roblox games being shooters, that this is by far the worst one I have played that actually has a player base on it. My initial idea playing this game was to come in and make a sincerely fair review where I weigh the good against the bad and deliver my opinion on whether or not it's worth it to play in the current Roblox shooter market, but I have come to the conclusion that not only should you not play, but I don't believe that anyone should be playing the game at all. Part 1. Gameplay and Glitches. Now, after about a dozen or so hours in the game, and after I've had a chance to try a handful of the guns, every map, and every game mode, I can confidently say the only gameplay element that I can see that is always working flawlessly is the ability to purchase both skins and weapons out of the shop. Which I do think is important to mention, especially considering the guns all have custom adjusted prices that are specific to what level you are and what level the weapon is. Sometimes even having a gun that's a lower level than a higher level gun costs more, which definitely makes me ask why that system seems to be so fleshed out when every other aspect of the game is so heavily lacking. Now, getting into the gameplay, if you've had the misfortune of playing this game before, you've probably felt that not a single one of the gameplay elements reasonably feels like they belong in the game, or probably in any game to begin with. Whether it's the movement, the gunplay, the recoil, the physics, not a single piece of this game feels like it belongs here, and even if they were in different games, it wouldn't feel like it belonged there. The movement is overly generous, and this is the only game I have ever played in the world that seems to have copied the Call of Duty tactical sprint, where running with your pistol is faster than running with your knife for no reason that I've been able to discover thus far. Now, getting into the gunplay, to compensate for the terrible recoil, practically non-existent enemy visibility unless they're spotted, combined with the overly fast, janky, and jarring movement, the developers decided to opt for hitbox expansion on every single gun for every single person, which results in the ability for any person, even if they're on their phone, to be able to quickscope in the general vicinity of a target and hit every single shot, as in the clips you're seeing right now. Now, unfortunately for the rest of the gunplay, it tragically falls flat on its face, mostly because of a fault on the developer's end. On one hand, because of the extreme recoil that makes the automatic guns that can't one-shot basically just not worth it to use, and then on the other hand, for the clip you saw at the beginning of the video, and for clips that'll be playing now, of course the flamethrower, which is dealing somewhere around 37 damage at 2000 RPM with 500 ammo, with the ability to go through walls for whatever reason, and the list really does go on. The flamethrower in all metrics makes this game pointless to play if anyone is using it. And despite how simple of a fix that is, I am almost confident that if the flamethrower was nerfed and when the flamethrower is nerfed, the game will still be terrible to play based off the hitbox expansion alone. As for the glitches in the game, although they are responsible for me making this video in the first place, I do believe there are simply too many of them for me to name all in one video when I still have a handful of other things that I want to discuss. So if there is any point in the video where I haven't been able to dissuade you from playing, I implore you guys to get on the game and find some glitches of your own, because I guarantee you it's not going to be that hard. And although some of the glitches being shown are relatively harmless, whereas some of them are directly impactful to the gameplay, I believe the main takeaway here should be the fact that not only is this game in its 10th month of development, but it is also being actively worked on by somebody who's made 3 Roblox shooters in the past that, at least to my knowledge, did not possess glitches, at least to this magnitude, that are severe to the point of where the game cannot be enjoyed when someone is doing them or when somebody knows about them. Part 2. Conspiracies and Callouts. Now for this part of the video, we're going to be taking a closer look at one of the people who works on the game, their history with game development, and what I believe to be going on with this game at large. So for anyone who's been following the underground Roblox shooter scene for the past 6 years, has probably played a game by this developer at some point and not even realized it. 3 of those games being Battle Ops, the Black Ops 3 clone, Fray, the Modern Warfare 3 clone, and then Recoil, which is some sort of unique abomination that exists in its own realm. The reason these are being brought up is just like Rolling Thunder in their similar engine, graphics, and gameplay, these games always seem to have monetization made first and foremost, they never get finished, and by the time the player count just starts to dry up, a new game gets made in its place on actually a 2-year schedule ever since the release of Battle Ops in 2016. And for the last section of the video, to wrap things up, I would like to dedicate the one and only call out in this video to CD Development, for rather than showing an interest in working on his games, improving what he has, and bettering himself as a developer, he would rather choose to spend the time calling out other developers, making trivial points that his game includes a feature that others do not, where his game has that one feature, but also lacks 1,000 that the other 2 games he made comparisons to hold. This can also be seen in this extremely petty tweet on screen right now, where he claims that his game runs better by a whopping 9 FPS in an entirely empty scenario, whereas the comparative Phantom Forces screenshot is in a clearly full lobby. So I decided to go and prove this for myself, and lo and behold, a full Phantom Forces lobby versus a Rolling Thunder lobby, Rolling Thunder rolls like shit. And it is shit. And I do believe that is going to be it, and the end of the video. Just as a final note, just for the sake of positivity to throw this out there, if the development shows genuine interest in fixing these bugs, and within the next few months presents fixes to these bugs, where the game is substantially better in quality, I'd be happy to come back on and make a more positive review about the game, but I'm gonna need to see that first. Alright, that's it, bye. Do you think these people are real?
Good question.